On this episode, we turn code monkeys into actual coders, go through 7 days of shooters, and crawl our way into Spy HQ. Get your nostalgia helmets on. This is episode 23 of the Indie Game Riot.
Indie Game Riot! Hey everybody, this is JaShinYa, and this is episode 23 of the Indie Game Riot. Yeah, the crowd goes wild. Okay. So how are things going for you, Rev? Or Tech, or Rev, or Tech?
I have a short story that I'm just gonna tell you what happened. You know how people like blow milk out their nose?
It's milk.
No.
Wait, go ahead.
I ended up blowing red pepper flakes out my nose.
Oh, that sounds.
And it was like the most painful experience I've had in like maybe the last week. But
that sounds like a ton of fun. I don't know what you're talking about.
Because so I was heating up some old pizza, and it wasn't old. It was just in the fridge. So
it's just, behind the fridge. What?
And I put some red pepper flakes on it, right? And I go to take a bite. I take a bite. It's hot. I go, and it just straight into my nose. All of it straight into my nose. And everyone in the house was like, "Are you okay? Are you choking?" I'm like,
"No." Like rolling around on the floor.
It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty
You're like
bad.
Snorting milk.
Like, there are a lot of guys who talk about eating hot wings and then going to the bathroom and, like, wanting to kill themselves.
Actually, I've done that. I've done that. Yeah. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings because I saw you actually said you went to Buffalo Wild Wings. Was it the one in Hagerstown, by the way?
No, it was not.
Okay. Well, I went to the one in Hagerstown, and I got the Suicide, or where the hell they are. The hottest ones.
Yeah.
And after I was done, I went outside. And I like, wiped off my hands and everything with, like, paper towel. Mm-hmm. But I went outside. I was like, man, I really got to pee, but I don't want to go back inside. And there were like a little grove of trees there. So I went.
I've heard the story.
I went, and then I was like sitting there. I was like, wait, oh my god, I can't feel my dick.
Yep, that's what happens.
It like went numb and everything. It's terrible.
No, it's funny. Like, I remember you telling me the story like 2 years ago, or more than that, maybe. Like,
it's probably while I was in college that happened.
Yeah, basically, you don't forget when that happens.
Yeah, no, that was a once in a lifetime experience. Well, hopefully once.
Yeah. So Rev, what have you been up to?
So, side story. No, not much. Work, lots and lots of work. And then some more work, and then some more work on top of that. My family is currently up at a sword fighting event, and I am getting 9 kinds of shit from people. They're like, "Oh, why aren't you at the event?" And it's like, well, because I'm going to IndieGoGo, and fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, IndieGoGo.
Exactly.
IndieGoGo, yeah.
That's pretty much what I've been doing. And I've been playing Hand of Fate because it's awesome. But, yeah. But, no, side story, something entertaining. You thought the red pepper flakes were bad? Try a Hot Pocket. So,
molten lava in the mouth.
Worst experience of my life. I had just pulled this Hot Pocket out of the microwave. And it's a Hot Pocket, so regardless of how long you microwave it for, the center is like this molten lava of cheese and ham.
Either that or it's just an iceberg in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't do the whole iceberg Hot Pocket, so it was molten lava. And
in the chat, a whole Hot Pocket up my nose.
So, I'd taken a bite out of it, and I masticated the end, and so now I'm sucking some of the filling out so that I can bite into it without it blooging all over my hands and burning me.
That's what you said.
And
what?
As I am biting into, I'm filling my mouth with this, my roommate comes walking out and makes a comment, and I don't remember the comment, but it was so funny that I started to laugh, but I had a mouthful of Hot Pocket filling. So I don't want to laugh out loud because then I'm spewing Hot Pocket filling all over the kitchen and I have to clean it up. So I'm trying to laugh, but hold it in and it comes up the sinuses, right? The type laugh. But I do that with a mouthful of lava, and filled my sinuses.
You just
with, I had
you fall to your hands and knees
in the sinuses.
You go to the hospital like how?
I did. They were like,
"What do you expect us to do? We don't have anything we can do.
We can give you a lobotomy. You could forget."
How about you,
Where's
Josh?
the closest gun store? Oh no, we're in California.
Me? I feel like now I gotta top this. I don't even know.
No, you already talked about your dick falling off.
Oh yeah, pre-show talking about Ebola shooting out of dicks or something. I don't even.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
don't fall dead. A PSA from Indie Game.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
I was drinking whiskey when you said that.
Oh, whiskey in the nose. That's not much better.
That's pretty bad.
I don't know. Now I got I feel like I should shove something in my nostrils just to join in.
You need to let everybody know the circumstances of this episode.
Oh yeah. I guess because I don't really have anything to say, so I'm going to say something boring. Basically, this episode is being recorded on Thursday because tomorrow.
It's Friday.
I guess it is midnight. I guess it is. So technically, we're on time.
Well, for you, it's only 9 p.m. for me.
But yeah, but this is being recorded early because Rev is going to IndieCade tomorrow. He's repping Indie Game Riot at IndieCade.
We're a real
press.
boy now.
I'm a real boy. So yeah, that's why. And then Tech has some little movie thing to go to. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm an award-winning video maker.
Yeah, and my things get shown at festivals.
Pretentious douche.
That's a funny part. Before we let me interject this really quick. So Rev was watching this thing and he was taking notes because I care about what people think about what I make. And the first note that he wrote about my movie is pretentious crap. And I'm like, yeah, except it's not, but yeah.
Well, I threw it in as a joke because, what else are you going to do for an indie movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Just be like, oh, yeah, it's an artsy thing. That's why you don't understand it. And I was like, pretentious crap.
Exactly.
And then you took an indie news injection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an indie news injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
And this week in Indie News Injection, we're going to start off with a story that we talked about kind of previously in one of the other episodes about Seattle's EMP Museum setting up an indie game exhibit. You remember that, guys?
Yeah.
November 8th.
Yeah, November 8th is when it starts. But the little piece of news that we have right now is that Nintendo, of all freaking video game entities, has actually committed to supporting the EMP's exhibit for indie games by offering them a Wii U so that people that are visiting the exhibit can play games like Shovel Knight and The Swapper. Yeah?
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the Swapper, but anybody that hasn't played Shovel Knight should.
Well, we talked about Shovel Knight on one of our previous episodes.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
And I'm still playing it.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I don't know. Are there a lot of unlockables in that? Is that why?
Well, the unlockables, there's not a whole slew of them, but I'm playing through it on New Game Plus, and it's, oh my god, exponentially more difficult.
I actually own the Swapper, but I haven't played it yet because I've been trying to save it for a Let's Play whenever I'm able to get back into that when my children are adults. But yeah, it's they're also going to be, just so you know, the Seattle EMP Museum is also going to exhibit games from Yacht Club Games, we already talked about Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
Asteroid Base, which we talked about last episode because they're being funded by the Behemoth's Golden Egg Project and Blendo Games, just to name a few.
And I think this is cool coming from Nintendo, especially considering that Nintendo has always sort of had a murky stance on developers other than themselves.
Well, that's why it's kind of big news. I mean, other than the fact that it's a big company getting involved, but it's just that Nintendo, of all companies, Nintendo basically gives the double middle finger.
Yeah. Now, here's a theory to put out there. You look at how Nintendo's Nintendo usually plays the safe game. They're very much so. We know it works. We're gonna put it out there in the world, and because it has our name on it, it's gonna sell. You know, like that's why Mario hasn't changed since Super Mario 64.
Unfortunately.
In fact, it's gone backwards, which, I mean, you know,
God,
take it or leave it.
This is making me angry.
But see, now they're actually at least trying to get a wider indie presence on their platform. Now they're actually trying to get more people interested in their new system in museums, like, and with this exhibit. So, like, regardless of like where they might come from, this is definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely not completely altruistic, but you know, like you said, it's at least
exactly
no matter what the ambition is. Is that what the word? Anyway, you know, it still helps.
See, my question, the thing that keeps popping into mind for me is, who are they getting to replace their former indie connector?
Dan Adelman.
I mean, he had a lot of connections through the indie game community, and he worked with them. He's now doing indie projects alone or with other teams, but you know, it's. Who are they going to get to replace him? He was kind of the indie face of Nintendo, at least for the...
Well, who really wants that job? Because that was the whole thing. He left because they were basically screwing him over, too.
Right,
because of the things he was saying.
But if they're going to try and make this kind of an outreach to the indie community now, they should have somebody that is in place to interface, because Nintendo's kind of always struck me as that very stuffy but fun corporation.
Well,
does that make sense?
They basically did the equivalent of "fuck you," and then the next day, "I'm sorry, baby, come back, please." You know.
Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing how this is going to integrate in their future plans, because it almost seems like it's too haphazard. Like they're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks, and hoping for the best.
Well, I mean, they are a big company, so they might have a larger plan that we're not seeing, but it definitely does feel like they're sort of like damage controlling.
I feel like...
Ooh, I didn't even take into account damage control.
Well, that's what I was thinking was damage control. That's what this is. That's what I was saying. Like, they realize, oh, crap, I messed up, and now they're like, please, come back to us. You know, it's I don't know. They've got so many problems. They got 99 problems, and a female dog ain't one. You know what I mean?
The game might not be one.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, time will tell. But in any case, check out the Seattle EMP Museum, November 8th.
Is when it opens.
Yeah. Well, you know how you could be the next time they do a indie game exhibit, you could be one of those devs, because there's a program out there that Rev is going to talk about.
Yes, there is a little tool out there called Twine. It has been in the news a couple of times, most recently due to Gamersgate issues, etc. But it's a hypertext creative tool.
Wait, was Depression Quest created on Twine?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Twine is a very common tool for developers to use for text-based, more story-driven, non-graphical games or experiences. So it's really simple to use. It basically does the job of coding for you. So consider it a text engine for the game.
And this is free, correct?
Yes, it is currently free.
Windows and OS X.
Yep. And they one of the reasons this came up today specifically is because they're releasing the beta version 2.0, and in 2.0 they're going browser based, because a lot of the games that are coming out on Twine probably fit a little bit better in a browser than, you know, as a downloadable. I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but they're adding the definite support and focus to browser based for it.
I think that's a really good move, considering that like Unity is easiest played on a browser, and that can be a full 3D engine.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Although I've seen that crash browser so many times.
that's true.
Well, and there's also there's some hiccups that are in the future that they're trying to work around. For example, if I'm working on Rev's Enormous Penis, the text adventure, and
favorite.
it's my favorite game, and I'm doing that at the public library because that's the only place that I have. I'm at the school library, and how am I going to save my progress and save my work on a browser game? So they don't have any plans for that yet, but they're investigating things to try and do this.
Can you download the software and then transport it into like a browser base?
You probably could.
Yeah, or I'm thinking have a mobile version where you just pop it on a flash drive, everything saves on the flash drive. I mean, it's a text-based adventure.
Yeah.
I can theoretically play, and I have Half-Life 1 on a USB 2 flash drive. The load times and save times are scary because it looks like it's crashing, but
Right.
you can do it. And if you don't have a flash drive, go to Walmart. They're like $8. So
Well, but sometimes you don't have a flash drive handy. I know this because I needed one today.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time I used a flash drive.
I've basically switched completely over to SD cards because that's what I have around.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
FedEx
you make-
FedEx Kinko's doesn't accept SD cards.
Even if you have a reader?
Yeah.
Even if they need the image burned to a CD or in a flash drive.
I've always used
I went to go print cards today.
I've always just done USB transfers through like various mobile things.
Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
that, can't you?
Yeah.
I'm a generation behind on the whole mobile thing.
But anyway,
So it's something to keep an eye out if you have the interest in making a text-based adventure. And honestly, one of our listeners I think would do a fantastic job of this. So I'm going to try and guilt Inev Pretoria to do one, and because I would listen to the hell out of this.
BT Dub. First of all, this is a really good creative outlet for anyone.
Yeah.
But just as a BT Dubs, Newgrounds is also hosting like a Halloween game contest, and so you could win. I think they're giving out cash, so you could actually, I think like scary stories would work really well in a text adventure.
Yeah.
You can submit it.
Are there any like sound engines or like, play this sound from a thing that you can download, or is it just completely silent?
I'm sure you could add in, right? Did Rev die?
Rev may have died, but it'd be really cool to at least see, maybe a sound engine and really see where this is going, especially because it's beta 2.0 is coming out.
That would be really cool. I mean, images, like you could do text adventure with images and supplement it with a sound, almost like an audiobook.
Yeah, and it would be really awesome. Oh yeah, like with full voice acting. A full voice acting text adventure would take like the boring parts of like, you mean to tell me that I have to read what?
Twine, get on that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that'd be awesome. Like I would do that. Like Indie Game Riot, Rev's Enormous Penis, the text adventure with voice acting. Like, come on. And, but from text adventures to things that you can shoot, because you can shoot stuff in text adventures, but it isn't the same. 7
Onomatopoeias, I use it.
Yeah, 7 DFPS Game Jam happening next month, and I think we got Rev back.
Hey.
We got back in broken glass.
I heard the glass shatter. I was like,
My
what's
apologies.
going on?
7 DFPS is a game jam from November 8th to the 15th, where you are tasked in 7 days to make a first-person shooter game, and that's it. Just do it. Get a team together, make a first-person shooter game. They have hundreds of entries. They started back in 2012, and this is their third year of doing it. And let me tell you, some of the games that have come out of this are infuriatingly ragey.
I was going to say, have there been like any really well-known games that have come out of this jam? Did Superhot come out of this?
I don't think. I feel like Superhot was before this.
I feel like there was something we talked about came out of this.
Yeah, that could have been.
No, Super Hot.
Was it Superhot?
I'm pretty sure.
This seems like a game. This seems like a game jam that Superhot would come out of. But you have a lot of because there are very few rules. Basically, here's.
You're gonna read the thing?
Yes, I'm going to read every single rule, theme, and FAQ about this game jam. The rules are make something. The theme is there is no theme. And the FAQ has one question and answer, and that is, can I? Yes. So if you've ever wanted to make a first-person shooter game and...
can I... Here's my question for the FAQ. Can I make a top-down isometric?
Yes.
If you are...
Bam! Conundrum, bitch.
Well, we should probably. We should.
By the way, confirmed. Superhot started out as a 7-day first-person shooter
Thought
game.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, look where it can take you. Superhot's an awesome game, and now
it's a fantastic.
Yeah, seriously. But you have games like what was that one? Almost Archery was
That's a ragey game.
That's a very ragey game. I played another one that unfortunately is pretty much like multiplayer only, called Root Arena, which actually controls pretty cool. The weapons are really awesome. There are a lot of like there's a Blackheart, which looks sort of like an 8-bit Doom clone. Like you have a lot of styles that are being brought out, and the take on the whole first-person shooter that you can make in 7 days. There are a lot of joke games, but like that's kind of cool. Like sometimes you have a game jam and it's all serious games, and you should feel this. You should feel bad for that person over there because they have problems that you don't.
Well, people try and get artsy with it, which is fine. But I think joke games are fine. I still want it to be taken serious. Like I want it to be a game. Like I don't want it to be like
taken seriously.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like. I don't know what I can't think of something, but
Goat Simulator.
Yeah. I was gonna say that, but then everyone's going, "Go to go game."
To be fair, it is better than Almost Archery, but again,
hey, I think Almost Archery is fun. It's just ragey.
Once you get the hang of
it, it's like playing Surgeon Sim. Like, dude, dumb game.
Well, see, as soon as I realized it was like Surgeon Sim, I was like, oh god,
that's basically what it is.
I have to try and hit a target now. Why? But yeah, no, there are like lots of different art styles, lots of different cool new mechanics. There's this game called Flip Flop that was released on there, where every single time you move against a wall, it changes your perspective. Now you're walking on that wall, and then at the end of the level, it shows you where exactly you went and shows you like where you messed up and how everything did. And that's a cool mechanic. So there's a lot of. If you're not going to make a game, at least watch out for some games. If you like playing odd first-person shooters that aren't your standard Call of Duty Battlefield 8. So...
Spunk Gargle Wee Wees.
Is that a real game?
No, that's from... No, that's a joke from Zero Punctuation.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
any questions about 7D FPS? That's a hard name.
Well, I think...
7 FPS.
I hope that this year for 7D FPS, there are enough entries that you could legally consider it a riot. And we should start a riot.
No.
Come on.
Not yet. No, you skipped over the mini challenge first. I'm breaking your segue.
The mini challenge. The mini challenge.
7H FPS.
7 hour?
7 hours on the 31st of October, 1st of November, or 2nd of November. 7 hours, create a game, and submit it to the site.
Can you use that as a launching point for your 7D?
It does say you can use it to warm up for 7D.
Warm up and using it to actually start.
Hey, what are the rules? Make something.
All right.
Can I? Yes.
All right. Top-down isometric, people. Here we go. Starting the riot.
Have you ever wanted to feel like James Bond? This game makes you feel way more awesome than James Bond. Yes, Counter Spy puts you in a world where you are a spy. And not only do you have to go around and sabotage individual, components of levels that you are thrown into, but you also have to take down some guards in some of the craziest, awesomest ways you can possibly think of as a spy. There is shooting, there are stealth kills, awesome, crazy scenery with a very distinct art style. Counter Spy for the PlayStation 4. This is not an ad. We're talking about it.
That's it. I think that's the only negative thing about this game that I could really like complain about is that it's PS4 exclusive.
Yeah,
I don't like.
It's not. It's not. It's PS4, PS3, and PS Vita, and
I think
so
exclusives should stick to AAAs. That's all I gotta say about that.
And it is available on mobile and tablet.
Okay,
how does that make sense?
That's a little bit better. I will say that I can understand why they did it, because a lot of times people like playing third-person games with a controller, and although you can do that with a computer. Well, exactly. That's what I was going for. Like, yes, a lot of people are used to it, but I can see why they wanted to get a deal with Sony to bring this to a new console and a player base that they went for.
Yeah.
And like to be fair, like if the game looks good on a PS4, it's going to look good everywhere.
Do you think that, I mean, like, do you think there's going to be an opportunity for later down the road that they could to release it to different, they could port it out, kind of like what they did with Castle Crashers and all that?
Yeah, I think they can. And one thing that I think that, we're focusing like, why can't I play it on my PC? Why can't I play it like, on my Xbox? Even though because Rev owns an Xbox. Wouldn't he want to play this game? I think the important thing with this is that it's a Vita game. And for a mobile game, like, well, by mobile, I mean a handheld game, to be this awesome, like, sign me up. Like, I'll buy a Vita, because, like, beforehand, look at what did you want on the Vita? I want old PSP games,
Final Fantasy VII Remix.
But like, those are games you've already played.
Yeah,
like, it's a lot of games that are either redone, like, oh, you can get the new Uncharted game on the PS Vita and play an old game, or it's like a touch based weird rhythm game that nobody plays. But this is a game that easily translates from the screen with a controller to a smaller screen in your hands with with a joypad.
Right.
So I can understand the direction there. Perspective in this game, talking more about the game and less about the politics of the game. You have, I said it was third person. It's a little bit different from third person. Yes, you have third person elements, but you also have these sort of zoomed out, almost 2.5D experiences within the game. Perspective changes depending on where you are, where you're hiding, the different kills that you can make within the game. There are a lot of different guns and upgrades and things that you do in a spy game that you would think you would do in a spy game. You break into chests, you shoot cameras, you hack terminals in a very
choke bitches out.
Exactly. Like this game, like, some spy games are like really slow and boring, and this is a stealth game. I need to be careful. All this stress. But this is sort of like if stealth games met action games.
You could probably play it like a regular stealth game, because some people just like to. Some people they just have different ways that they like to play. The people are different.
Yeah, and like think about it like this. Like I played Dishonored is a good example of this. I played Dishonored a lot, and I was like, I'm getting bored of the stealth mission.
Well, stealth missions were just damn hard.
Exactly. Let's see if we can kill people instead and just go on a rampage. And unfortunately, the game wasn't built around that. But this game is very much, at least seemingly, built around a very distinct, you can play how you want, but fuck shit up.
See, this game, as I'm watching videos of it, earlier and even now, I'm seeing. I'm pretty sure if this isn't done in Unity due to its simplicity, it was done in the Unreal Engine, because I have got. There was a game that came out, and I purchased it against my better judgment, called Shadow Complex. It's part of the prequel to one of Orson Scott Card's books, and I fucking hate that man. So, no, he's a total douche. Like, in person, he is a dickbag.
Wait, you've met this guy?
Yeah, several times.
Oh, okay. In which case, your points are very valid.
You've met a very famous author.
Yeah, like, I love his books. I love 95% of everything that he's written.
We've got to talk about, like, why he's a douche after the show.
Yeah, we will. So, like, Shadow Complex was written by Orson Scott Card, and I was like, oh, I have to get this. And so I bought it, and if you watch the gameplay of Counter Spy, it's that side view action adventure, but with the kind of stealth mechanics that are implemented in say Splinter Cell, like some of the later Splinter Cells. So it's this really nice blend of a couple of genres that I really like, and honestly, I can't think of any reason. Like, I'm trying to find a way that I can buy it for my tablet right now. Like, I'm scrolling through their site going, no, seriously, just sell me the fucking game already.
Yeah, I think the worst part is that they don't have a buy me now button on the website. They have like some
kind of weird
on like prices, and
they probably have something in their contract with PlayStation that they aren't allowed to sell it on there.
Yeah, but if you buy it for the Vita, you can play it on your PS3 or PS4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they do allow for cross selling.
So that is definitely sort of another plus about going with PlayStation. All of a sudden, now you're playing on your PS3. Oh, I'm gonna go on a road trip. I still want to keep playing Counter Spy. Let's pick up my Vita and play it, on the bus.
I just want to point out too, Inventory in the live stream chat mentioned that PlayStation Vita does actually have a really strong indie game
scene
collection. Yeah, scene, whatever. Because he was mentioning Luftrausers and Ollie Ollie. It's Tearaway indie? I think it is. But anyway, I'm not really sure. But there are actually Sound Shapes too, and there actually are thinking about it, a lot of really good games on PlayStation Vita for indie.
There's one other thing that I want to mention about Counter Spy.
Mm-hmm.
Procedurally generated.
Oh yeah,
which is nice.
Well, it can be nice.
Do you think this is a little bit off? Like, do you think the procedurally generated thing can get old? Like, I know it adds to replayability.
Well, here's my thing: if the gameplay is good, and let's take Rogue Legacy as an example for this, because that game is literally based off of procedurally generated dungeons, and it's a roguelike. So you go in, you play it, you die. Something changes, you play it, you die. Something changes, you play, you die. And it changes, but there's an overall goal that you need to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas you take a procedurally generated game like Minecraft, and it's sort of like make your own goal. And these levels seem to have obvious beginning, middles, and ends. I think the big thing is seeing whether or not they got the generation right to give you interesting things. Exactly, because with procedurally generated things, especially in the 3D world, especially when you have things to do, you're going to have things that repeat. You're going to have I know this room, I can play this room perfectly. And so the replayability starts to sort of slow down. That's where you need a really good story, a really good backbone to your game to, push it past that initial, I played this game for 10 hours. I know I've seen everything, and the only thing that's challenging is if I get a level where that is really hard to navigate because it's generated in a way that makes it difficult, and I like that.
Right.
That's because I've played procedurally generated games where you play for 5 minutes and you die, and that's sort of the game. And if it generated differently, I could have done better, but this looks like they put thought into it.
You also broke a rule, Tech.
I did?
We can't talk about Minecraft at all.
No. It's cover Minecraft.
No.
Not talk about it?
No.
Do I
go to timeout? Go to timeout. Why don't you?
Do I have to talk? Do I have to just crawl back in my hole?
Yeah, we're gonna crawl. You crawl over to timeout so we can crawl over to the Peep Show segment. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Peep Show.
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
This week on Peep Show, we've got.
Wait.
What's that?
We didn't talk about the developer for the last game. Who made Counter Spy?
That would be Dynamite, or Dynamite, depending, and now on to Peep Show.
Dynamite. Damn it, Tech.
Sorry.
Anyway, this week on Peep Show, we good?
Yep.
All right, we are talking about a game called Crawl. It is a dungeon crawler, but it is multiplayer and allows local multiplayer for up to 4 players. So, what that means is that you can play, one person plays the hero, and then the other 3 people play as the monsters and traps and try to kill him. And what's cool about it is actually kind of has a, what game? What's like a schoolyard game I'm trying to think of? I can't remember. But anyway, whoever kills the player, whoever kills the hero gets to become the hero the next round. Yeah.
So like tag?
Shut up. Yeah, tag.
It's basically like super convoluted dungeon 8-bit tag.
Yeah, and the art style is really cool too. It's very old school and 8-bit. However, the animation for it is fantastic. I haven't seen 8-bit look that good in animation. I don't even I can't even think of I can't even think of a game that's looked that good like in 8-bit. But anyway,
I mean, like Shovel Knight was.
That wasn't 8-bit. That was like 16-bit.
It was 16-bit. Yeah, this is like straight out of Atari.
Yeah,
like 60 frames per second, basically. Like,
exactly.
Holy crap.
And then basically you can what you're trying to do is trying to get enough XP and loot to take on the final boss at the end of the game. You can also level up, increase your stats, amass powerful weapons, magic items, and things like that. You can also evolve the monsters from spiders and rats to powerful demons and dragons and undead warriors. You can play controller, keyboard, and mouse. And you can also play against bots if you don't have any friends and you're sad. It's also out for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Yay. And just so we don't forget, if I can, there we go. Powerhoof is the dev of this game.
I think that the hardest thing, for, at least for me, and I think for a lot of people, about getting other people to play this game is my computer, at least my good computer, is in my room on a desk, surrounded by a desk and a bed, and someone else can sit on a bed, and that's the only other place to sit. So, like, if you somehow got a Steam box,
you can all just like doggy pile.
Are Steam boxes a thing yet?
No, not yet.
Well, like, if you have one of those, you have a computer hooked up to a TV. I mean, if anything gives you, like, I was thinking about it, I was like, I should really hook up a computer to the TV downstairs and just have a computer down there. And then I'm like, oh yeah, this will give me a reason to do that. So now I can have people over, give them controllers, and be like, here you go, let's kill each other.
Absolutely. So, and it is, like I said, it is early access. But if you buy it now, it's obviously an early access price of something.
$10.
Thank you, $10. And but if you get it, you'll get all the updates in the future for free. That means more weapons, spells, and items, more monsters, traps, and bosses, environments, secrets. Obviously, you're going to polish them more, and eventually.
They have this optimized down to Windows XP level.
Woo.
That's pretty awesome.
You only need 1 gig of RAM.
That's great. Well, I mean, like, it makes sense.
Of disk space.
And actually, the online multiplayer is not available, but that's what they're possibly working towards. That depending on how successful it is. And I think if people can start if the public, and what we're trying to do here if it gets the attention of the public, I think that they can get to that, because $10 for this game is absolutely worth it.
Especially considering when they have updates, like they're just like, oh yeah, we added a lot of stuff like this: new monsters, new chains, new gods, new items, new traps, standing target mechanics, jump in and out of blobs, the reworked poison system, and like a bajillion balance tweaks and fixes like that. And this was all just not even a month ago. This was like 3 weeks ago that they posted this. And they keep I think they maybe make 2 updates a month.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's great.
2 updates a month is a lot.
Especially when the updates are, not like, oh yeah, we fixed some bugs, here you go. No, this is like, yeah, there's new stuff, play it.
Yeah.
So I want to give a big shout out to Powerhoof. They are a 2-man studio.
Yeah.
Really?
David Lloyd and Barney Cumming. David is a hat thief, and Barney is a former hat owner. David does the programming and design. Barney does art and design. But they quit their jobs about a year and a half ago so that they could make games together. This is their first game,
and it's very good. God, what a debut, actually.
Yeah.
And I got to say, talking about Hat Thief and Hat Owner, just like even going through their site and some of the things on their game, it looks like if you're a fan of humor, it looks like they have good humor in this.
Yeah, and talk about a well-made site too. Just
yeah, very nice. I don't know what else is there to say about this game. I'm actually because we kind of flew through all the features.
But like,
I'm gonna play it is on payday. On the 15th, I get paid
for everyone.
I feel like if as soon as they add, multiplayer online, Indie Game Riot, it's going to start hating each other.
Oh yeah. I can't. Like, I want to play games where I can just screw you guys over.
Exactly. Like, it's funny. Like, you think, oh yeah, I want to totally beat the boss, and like all of us are thinking, no, I want to.
No, we're gonna.
I want to just like hurt people. I want to die because like, yeah. Oh
well,
yeah.
Any other questions or last bits of information before we interrupt someone in the next segment?
No, but good job, Power Hoof.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like this is a short segment, but the game, I don't know. The game just looks awesome.
It's a pretty self-explanatory game, but there's something about it that's
very simple, except for that mechanic.
I do have something we can kind of to pad this out, and it's not just filler question. Okay. Do you guys? This is now the 5th or 6th game that I've seen recently, like within the last month or two, that is primarily focusing on the local multiplayer. Do you think that this is the pendulum's? Yeah, is it the pendulum returning the other direction? Because we've had years now where it's like, oh yeah, I'd love to play this game with you, but I don't have the $60 for it.
Absolutely. Actually, and ever since talking about a AAA game here, but ever since Dead Island promised local co-op and then didn't deliver, which I should have sued their asses for false advertising. I've just been like very against no co-op. Like it's like how you are with like
general multiplayer,
like well no like how your feelings towards like games that are exclusive to one platform or something like that, or one OS. That's how I am with like if there's not local multiplayer, I'm very like shame on you. Local because I mean online multiplayer is fun because I mean you can still play with your friends on online multiplayer, but there's something about being able to sit in your living room and having your friends like physically there next to you. It's just it kind of raises the fun level,
especially when
bonding
you are screwing over people that are next to you.
And then, and then the fist fights that break out is always good. But yeah,
screen watching.
But it is absolutely making a comeback.
I think that this is just a maybe. Like, we have sort of a newer generation of developers coming into developing games, and they grew up with games where you'd go to your friend's house, you'd plug in a controller, and you would both play, whether that be, Nintendo games like, all the fighting games, or there are some co-op games that you could play, like Gauntlet and stuff like that.
Gauntlet, they're making a remake of that. I know that's
exactly. And then, you had the developers who were like big business. It's like, look, we can do this online thing. Now you can play with people around the world. And people, ate that up, partially because of Valve, probably with Counter-Strike, and, WoW and stuff like that. And now you have this generation who are, skilled and knowledgeable enough to make the games that, they want to play, and are able to bring this to the table where it might not have been before. Plus, coupled with a great indie scene that's only getting bigger, the sky's the limit.
Right.
Now, do you think, a corollary question to that, do you think that with the pendulum having swung so far in the online-only multiplayer aspect, that it's going to be harder or easier to get people together for a local game?
It's hard for me to get, to hang out with one of my friends at this point. Like I wish I had, beer buddy. It's like, oh yeah, it's Thursday night. Let's go out, have a beer and then hang out. But
that is the one downside to local co-op is like actually getting people in the same place at once. But I kind of with you too. Like I wish it were that weekly I kind of did that with board games a little bit, but still
Yeah.
it's hard because of scheduling and life and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
and especially out where I am, I think Rev has a little less of this problem because it's California and everything.
He always seems to have like 10 people in his place.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
where I am, like one of my really good friends, like we've been hanging out a lot, but it takes me 45 minutes to drive to his house. Like that's just sort of how the distance that it is, and I have to get into a car and drive at least 10 minutes to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm not even in the middle of nowhere. Like, so you and then but
But anyway,
Okay.
but I don't want that to discourage people from putting in
Exactly.
co-op because it is awesome.
this-
and when it
this
actually can happen, it's
Yeah.
magic.
This might have an inverse effect of making people want to get back together and hang out and actually play a game versus, nah, man, I'm tired. Just get on Minecraft and we'll start the server up.
Yeah.
I miss you. Come play games with me.
Exactly.
But then in people in our situations, don't get rid of multiplayer either because we'd like
Yeah,
to play each other.
seriously. If you have the option, definitely give it to us. But
So I'm hoping they'd come out with a multiplayer as well for online.
definitely.
And but yeah,
But definitely check it out.
so and this one last thing too. I've got to say these Peep Show games are really like
Yeah, they're getting
stepping
good.
it up.
Like I played the day after we talked about the last Peep Show game. I was like, I need to play this, and I got
Fate.
home. I got home after I think going to class, and I'm like, I need to play this game, and I played that game, and I was like, oh, this is so much better than I thought it was going to be.
$10, go play Crawl on Steam Early Access, and you'll get all the updates. But if you don't have $10, you can play games for free. And we're going to talk about a classic on Free Fun.
And this week on Free Fun, we have a oldie. And as we all know, I kind of started a new job and I don't have a whole lot of time. But we were talking tonight about which games we're going to show, and I got a nostalgia boner for when I had a job and I had nothing but free time, even while on the job. There is a Flash game, and I apologize for the site. It's one of those horrible ones, but flashgames247.com. I probably spent what?
I just want to point out that website opened up a new tab. That's how bad that site is. It opened up a new tab for an advertisement.
And the site hasn't changed since like 2003. Like, it's still the exact
I feel
same.
like no one's even like there's no administrator on that site. It just runs itself now.
Automated game submission. So yeah, it's the game is Bike Mania. It's one of those balance games. Like you played Trials.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the original Trials. Back when Trials was still just a dream in the developer's mind, they probably played this game before they started, thinking about doing Trials. And it's just stupid simple obstacles. You've got barrels and you've got rocks, and you go over them, and you accelerate by pressing up, and then you can lean forward and backwards, and that's the game. They made 1 million of these, like
Yeah, there are a ton of clones.
yeah. Well, not even just the clones. Like the original guys made. I think they were up when I stopped playing this actively. I think they were up to Bike Mania 13.
This game is so old and irrelevant at this point that I'm not even going to add it into the title.
I'm okay with that.
And it threw us for a loop when we were looking for it because it's just like, is it on Newgrounds?
That's how old it is. We're like, it's so buried.
Like I thought every game was on Newgrounds. It's not on Congregate, it's not on Funny Junk. Like what the hell?
It's so buried under everything
Albino
else.
Black Sheep.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They're still around. So yeah, it's just a fun, simple game. If you crash, press spacebar. It's easier than trying to shift off of your arrow keys and clicking continue on your mouse. But just have fun with it. I've been playing it through the entire show, and I'm on the 4th level now. Apparently, I have forgotten just all of the skill that I had for it. But if you want a blast from the past nostalgia game, this is one that, like I said, me and my buddies, we had tournaments at work playing this game. It's not multiplayer, but you know, everybody's like, yeah, I beat it in 62 seconds on level 3. It was like, great, you bastard. But anyways, so yeah, free fun, check it out. I can't tell you who made it because, you know,
it's because back in those days there was no accreditation.
Nobody cared.
It looks like you're right.
This game was made by shove it up your ass.
There's absolutely no information about who made this game.
This is like, it's an enigma. It's just you could make a documentary trying to trace back the lineage of the game.
They have it on Android and iPhone.
Never mind. I was like, oh yeah, Bike Mania. That apparently they have a .biz URL. It was not the same thing.
.biz. Well, you know what's not old?
What's that?
The music that's playing in this background. Because I'm going to talk about that now because it's the end of the show. Wow. End of the show. And if you don't know, for those of you listening live, we have music playing in the background of the show for our recorded version, as well as bumpers and gameplay footage. For those of you who are listening to the recorded version, the person that you were listening to, or the person's music that you were listening to, his name is Mr. Straightface. And you can find that on newgrounds.com, speaking of. And that's actually going to be a link in the description. Go say hello to him. Say, Indie Game Riot sent us, and we love your music. And if you are a indie game musician or indie game anything, indie game dev, whatever, or you know someone who is, please have them contact us, and I will tell you how in just a minute. But before I do that, we have an IndieGoGo campaign. And that IndieGoGo campaign is going on right now. If you'd like to support us and just throw $1 and or 10,000 to us at some point, please do so. We could use that help because the number one priority is getting an actual functional website, as well as a few other things if we can get past that cost.
And a huge shout out to everybody that's already donated to that.
Yeah, seriously.
Absolutely.
So it's not just to help us because we want to give back to you guys so you can get some awesome Indie Game Riot stuff. Mm-hmm. You can find out more on the IndieGoGo campaign, link in the description.
Perks, man. Perks.
Yeah.
Now, back to what I was talking about as far as the contact goes. You can contact us. Well, first of all, those of you listening live, you can check out the recorded version if you'd like on youtube.com/JaShinYa Gaming. Those of you listening to the recorded version, check us out live, usually Fridays, unless we otherwise note that on Twitter or something. Usually Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can contact us on Twitter at IGR Podcast, Facebook.com/IGR Podcast. We also have a Reddit, reddit.com/r/Indie Game Riot. Should I even bother with the website anymore?
No.
Yeah. I haven't even updated it just because it's so the functionality is just so terrible, and I just figure that we'll be getting one soon anyway. So whatever.
You know what I just realized?
What's
you haven't forgotten the Reddit, nor has Tech zoned out for it, but you forgot to mention where they can watch our live stream.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You said Hitbox.
Yeah,
you didn't tell them the URL.
Yeah.
Hitbox.com or hitbox.tv/JaShinYa. That's where you can watch it live.
Talk about the Reddit, Josh. Jeez.
Yeah. And then finally, you can email us directly to JaShinYaGaming@gmail.com.
Wait, no.
Yes, no.
I've got a fucking business card.
No. That's for specials.
Oh, so our listeners aren't special?
They're special. That's why the listeners are going to get the extra special when that comes out when we get a website.
Right? Okay. Yeah. All right.
IndieGamer@gmail.com.
Yeah. So, it's JaShinYaGaming@gmail.com for now. Eventually, we'll get an actual email that you can send that to when we get a website. So, what a clusterfuck. Anything else you guys like to say before we end the show?
Other than that, I'm tired and I need to go to bed.
Whiny.
Yeah.
Well, fine. Say goodbye.
See you next time, guys.
Have a good one, folks.
Toodaloo. see a little silhouette of a man skeleton.
Scaramouche, will you do the fire? Thunderbolts of lightning, very, very frightening.
Galileo.
I can't do bass.
If it goes.